Prayers against demonic princes. Jesus, you have cast out the prince of this world and defeated him. John 12, verse 31. Jesus, you spoiled principalities and made an open show of them. Colossians 2, verse 15. I bind the prince of the power of the air in the name of Jesus. Ephesians 2, verse 2. I bind and rebuke Beelzebub, the prince of demons. Matt 12:24. I bind the principalities and powers of my region in the name of Jesus. Ephesians 6, verse 12. I command the principalities to come down in the name of Jesus. Jeremiah 13, verse 18. Lord, release your warrior angels against the demonic princes. Dan 10:20. Smite the princes as the days of old. Josh 13:21. Bring the iniquity of every profane prince to an end, and remove the diadem from his head. Ezekiel 21, verses 25 to 26. Lead the princes away spoiled, and overthrow the mighty. Job 12, verse 19. Make the nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, and all their princes like Zeba and Zalmunna. Psalms 83, verse 11. Pour contempt upon the demon princes. Psalms 107, verse 40. Cut off the spirits of princes. Psalm 76, verse 12. I rebuke and bind all princes that would speak against me. Psalms 119, verse 23. I rebuke and bind all princes that would persecute me. Psalms 119, verse 161. Bring the princes to nothing. Isaiah 34, verse 12. Punish the princes with your power. Zephaniah 1, verse 8. Prayers against Leviathan and marine spirits. O Lord, break the heads of the dragons in the waters. Psalm 74, verse 13. Cut off the head of every hydra in the name of Jesus. Break the heads of Leviathan in pieces. Psalm 74, verse 14. Punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, the crooked serpent, with your sword, great and strong sword. Isaiah 27, verse 1. Slay the dragon that is in the sea. Psalms 27, verse 1. I break all curses of pride and Leviathan from my life in the name of Jesus. Rip the scales of Leviathan. Job 41, verse 15. Break the strength of Leviathan's neck. Psalms 18, verse 40. Break the stony heart of Leviathan and crush it to pieces. Job 41, verse 24. Break the teeth of Leviathan and pluck the spoil out of his mouth. Job 41, verse 15. I put a hook in Leviathan's nose, a cord around his tongue, and I bore a thorn in his jaw. Job 41, verses 1 to 2. Lord, you rule the sea and the waters by your strength. Do not let any evil waters overflow my life. The channels of waters are seen at your rebuke. Psalms 18, verse 15. Rebuke all proud and arrogant demons that are cursed. Psalms 119, verse 21. I bind every sea monster that would attack my life or region in the name of Jesus. Lamb 4:3. Bring down the haughty demons by your power. Bring down the proud demons that have exalted themselves against your people. Scatter the proud in the imagination of their hearts. God, you resist the proud. Your power is against the high ones who have rebelled against you. Let not the foot of pride come against me. Psalms 36, verse 11. Break the crown of pride. Isaiah 28, verse 1. Break Rahab in pieces, as one that is slain. Scatter your enemies with your strong arm. Psalms 89, verse 10. Let not Leviathan oppress me. Psalms 119, verse 122. O Lord, render reward to Leviathan. Psalms 94, verse 2. Raise up a watch over Leviathan. Job 7, verse 12. Let not the proud waters go over my soul. Psalms 124, verse 5. I rebuke and destroy every trap the devil has set for me. Psalms 140, verse 5. Let the proud spirit stumble and fall. Jeremiah 50, verse 32. Break the pride of Leviathan's power. Leviticus 26, verse 19. Wait. Put on strength, O arm of the Lord. I command the helpers of Rahab to bow before the Lord. Isaiah 51, verse 9. Let not the foot of pride come against me. Psalms 36, verse 11. I strip the scales of Leviathan and take away his armor. Job 41, verse 15. Luke 11, verse 22. Cast abroad the rage of thy wrath and abase Leviathan. Job 40, verse 11. Smite through Leviathan with your understanding. Job 26, verse 12. Look on Leviathan and bring him low. Tread him down in his place. Job 40, verse 12. Rebuke the bulls of Bashan. Psalms 22, verse 12. Let the mighty be spoiled. Let the oaks of Bashan howl. Zechariah 11, verse 2. Bring your people from Bashan. Bring your people from the depths of the sea. Psalm 68, verse 22. Smite Bashan and the kingdom of Og. Psalms 135, verses 10 to 11. I bind and cast out all mind control spirits of the octopus and squid in the name of Jesus. Let the waters of the deep be dried up and destroy every spirit of Leviathan. Job 41, verse 31. Isaiah 44, verse 27. In the name of Jesus, I dry up your rivers, your seas, and your springs. Isaiah 19, verse 5. I call for a drought upon Leviathan's waters. Jeremiah 50, verse 38. Jeremiah 51, verse 36. Prayers against Jezebel. I loose the hounds of heaven against Jezebel. 1 Kings 21, verse 23. I rebuke and bind the spirits of witchcraft, lust, seduction, intimidation, idolatry, and whoredom connected to Jezebel. I release the spirit of Jehu against Jezebel and her cohorts. 2 Kings 9, verses 30 to 33. I command Jezebel to be thrown down and eaten by the hounds of heaven. I rebuke all spirits of false teaching, false prophecy, idolatry, and perversion connected with Jezebel. Revelation 2, verse 20. I loose tribulation against the kingdom of Jezebel. Revelation 2, verse 22. I cut off the assignment of Jezebel against the ministers of God. 1 Kings 19, verse 2. I cut off and break the powers of every word released by Jezebel against my life. I cut off Jezebel's table and reject all food from it. 1 Kings 18, verse 19. I cut off and loose myself from all curses of Jezebel and spirits of Jezebel operating in my bloodline. I cut off the assignment of Jezebel and her daughters to corrupt the church. I rebuke and cut off the spirit of Athaliah that attempts to destroy the royal seed. 2 Kings 11, verse 1. I come against the spirit of Herodias and cut off the assignment to kill the prophets. Mark 6, verses 22 to 24. I rebuke and cut off the spirit of whoredoms. Hosea 4, verse 12. I rebuke and cut off Jezebel and her witchcrafts in the name of Jesus. 2 Kings 9, verse 22. I rebuke and cut off the harlot and mistress of witchcrafts and break her power over my life and family. Nah. 3:4. I cut off witchcraft S out of the hands. Mike 5:12. I overcome Jezebel and receive power over the nations. Revelation 2, verse 26. Dealing with spirits of the desert. I speak to every desert in my life or ministry in the name of Jesus. I bind and cast out any desert spirit sent against my life. I bind and cast out every spirit of the desert owl, the desert fox, the desert dragon, the desert hyena, and the desert vulture in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 34, verses 11-15. I bind and cast out every scorpion spirit of fear and torment in the name of Jesus. Deuteronomy 8, verse 15. I bind and rebuke the screech owl in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 34, verse 14. I bind and cast out every jackal in the name of Jesus. Ezekiel 13, verse 15. I will not dwell in the wilderness, but in a fruitful land. Isaiah 35, verse 1. My desert shall blossom as a rose and bring forth abundant fruit. Isaiah 35, verse 1. Release water in my dry places and streams in the desert. Isaiah 35, verse 6. Let rivers flow into my desert places. Isaiah 43, verse 20. I rebuke the beasts of the desert, every doleful creature, every satyr, and every dragon from operating in my life. Isaiah 15, verses 21 to 22. Let your voice shake every wilderness place in my life. Psalms 29, verse 8. Let fatness drop upon my wilderness places. Psalm 65, verses 11 to 12. Let the spirits of the wilderness bow and lick the dust. Psalm 72, verse 9. I rebuke every pelican and owl of the wilderness. Psalms 102, verse 6. Turn the wilderness into a pool of water and the dry ground into water springs. Psalms 107, verse 35. Open rivers in high places and fountains in the midst of the valleys, and make my wilderness places a pool of water and my dry places springs of water. Isaiah 41, verse 18. Plant in my wilderness places of cedar, the shittim tree, the myrtle tree, the oil tree, the fire tree, the pine tree, and the box tree together. Isaiah 41, verse 19. I renounce all rebellion that would open my life to desert spirits. Psalm 68 verse 6. I break every curse of trusting in man that would open my life to desert spirits. Jeremiah 17 verses 5 to 6. I prophesy to every dry bone in my life and command to live. Ezekiel 37 verses 1 to 4. My land shall not be termed desolate, but I am called Hephzibah, and my land Beulah. Isaiah 62 verse 4. Make all my wilderness places like Eden, and my desert places like the garden of the Lord. Psalms 51 verse 3. Let every desolation in my life or bloodline be raised up in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 61 verse 4. Revive me and repair every desolation in my life. Ezra 9 verse 9. Prayers against demonic horsemen. Let the horse and rider be thrown into the sea. Exodus 15 verse 1. Break in pieces a horse and his rider. Break in pieces a chariot and his rider. Jeremiah 51 verse 21. I release the sword of the Lord upon the horses and chariots. Jeremiah 50 verse 37. I cut off the horses and destroy the chariots in the name of Jesus. Mike 5:10. Overthrow the chariots and those that ride them. Bring down the horses and their riders. Hag 2:22. Confound the riders on horses. Zechariah 10 verse 5. Let the horses' heels be bitten, and let the riders fall backward. Genesis 49 verse 17. Let the chariot, the horse, the army, and the power lie down together and not be able to rise. Isaiah 43 verse 17. Let the chariot and the horse be cast into a deep sleep at your rebuke. O Lord, Psalm 76 verse 6. Make the horses afraid as a grasshopper. Job 39 verses 19 to 20. Let the chariots and horsemen be burned with your fiery 2:13. Smite the horses with astonishment and the riders with madness and blindness. O Lord, Zechariah 12 verse 4. I bind and rebuke every black horse that would come against me in the name of Jesus. Revelation 6 verse 5. I bind and rebuke every red horse that would come against me in the name of Jesus. Revelation 6 verse 4. I bind and rebuke every pale horse that would come against me in the name of Jesus. Revelation 6 verse 8. Take away the strength of the demonic horsemen in the name of Jesus. Job 39 verse 19. Let the horses be cut by your power. O Lord, 2 Samuel 8 verse 4. I am your goodly horse in the day of battle. Zechariah 10 verse 3. Prayers against spirits of the valley. I bind and cast out all spirits that would attempt to keep me in a low place in the name of Jesus. I break the chariots of the enemies of the valley in the name of Jesus. Judges 1 verse 19. I rebuke and cast out the ravens in the valley in the name of Jesus. Proverbs 30 verse 17. Lord, you are the God of the valleys. Cast out every valley spirit in the name of Jesus. 1 Kings 20 verse 28. Let me be exalted and the spirits of the valley be smitten by your power. 2 Samuel 8 verse 13. I bind and rebuke every Goliath that would challenge me in the valley. 1 Samuel 17 verses 1 to 4. Let all the giant of the valley be destroyed. Josh 15:8. Fight against the spirits of the valley, and let my enemies be avenged in the valley. Josh 10:12-14. Let every Achan in my life be destroyed in the valley. Josh 7:24-26. I loose myself from every Delilah spirit operating in the valley. Judges 16 verse 4. Let all my valley places be blessed in the name of Jesus. 2 Chronicles 20 verse 26. Open a door of hope in all my valleys. Hosea 2 verse 15. I destroy every Edomite spirit in the valley in the name of Jesus. 2 Kings 14 verse 7. Let water flow into every valley place in my life. Joel 3 verse 18. Let every valley place in my life be exalted. Luke 3 verse 5. I smite Amalek and destroy him in the valley. 1 Samuel 15 verses 3 to 5. I smite all the Midianites in the valley. Judges 6 verses 33 to 34. Dealing with spirit birds. I bind and rebuke any unclean and hateful bird sent against my life by the enemy in the name of Jesus. Revelation 18 verse 2. I exercise my dominion over the unclean fowl of the air in the name of Jesus. Psalms 8 verse 8. Let every spirit bird sent against me be taken in the snare. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 12. I bind and rebuke every spiritual vulture in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 34, verse 15. I bind the operation of the screech owl night monster from operating against me in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 34, verse 14. I bind and rebuke the cormorant, the vomiting pelican, from operating against my life in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 34, verse 11. I bind and rebuke the bittern from operating against my life in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 34, verse 11. I bind and rebuke any raven sent against my life in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 34, verse 11. I bind and rebuke any demonic eagle and hawk sent against my life, and I command their nest to be destroyed in the name of Jesus. Job 39, verses 26 to 30. I pray these unclean birds will be caged in the name of Jesus. Jeremiah 5, verse 27. I bind and rebuke any unclean bird that would attempt to nest in my life in the name of Jesus. Let every wandering bird be cast out of its nest in the name of Jesus. Isaiah 16, verse 2. Let your presence drive every unclean bird away from my life. Jeremiah 4, verses 25 to 26. Let every fowl of heaven operating against my life be consumed in the name of Jesus. Zephaniah 1, verse 3. Let these birds flee and fly away at your rebuke. Jeremiah 9, verse 10. Let me walk in the path of wisdom that no fowl knows. Job 28, verses 7 and 21.